what's up, everybody? Pastor Mike here. Listen, I wanted to talk to you really quick about Halloween. You know, a lot of people actually wonder, what should a believer, a kingdom citizen, someone who is, representing Christ on the earth, what should they be doing around Halloween? You see a lot of people, a lot of Christians still celebrating Halloween. And so there's a lot of mixed reviews on this. So I'm not going to try to confuse you with this little short video. I'm not going to go too deep into the origins of Halloween, because the origins of Halloween, when I've done the research of it, it is actually a very, very mixed origin, meaning it came from one certain place, but it's been tampered with so much that you'll see that there are a lot of different ways over the years that different societies have dealt with and celebrated Halloween, but it's an old thing, and I want to kind of get into a little bit of what you should know about it. Well, number one, when you think about Halloween, what am I doing for Halloween this year, and what am I doing at my church for Halloween this year? I'm doing exactly what I did for Halloween for the last 5 and 10 years, really, which is nothing, absolutely nothing. It's just another day that goes by for me, and to me it's October 31st. It's not a special day to me. It's not a day that needs to be recognized. It has no biblical foundation that you need to honor it, observe it, or any of the practices of it. When you look at it, a lot of people think that it has, Christian roots, or it has some type of holy roots or something. But in its beginning, Halloween is evil from the start. But most people don't know. So you'll read a lot of different things online and you get yourself confused. But what we do know about the Bible is that all of the things that you see on Halloween today, with the idea of the witches and the witchcraft and the sorcery and the demonic imagery and the death imagery and all of these different things, which is the fear that is put into the atmosphere, the jack-o'-lanterns, the trick-or-treating, so you see all of this imagery, and there's a reason why it's such a fear-based holiday. And so this is what horror movies are put out at this time, and all of this stuff is demonic, and this is the Day of the Demons. Halloween actually comes from a word. It's really All Hallows Eve, which is just a way to say All Saints Eve, All Saints Day. All Saints Day is technically November 1st, but Halloween is a shortened name for All Halloween, or All Hallows Evening. And it's celebrated, around October 31st or on October 31st into November 1st. And the origin of it is, it comes from the Celtic harvest festivals, but Halloween, the way we think of it today, really just focuses around all the horror, all the, witches and warlocks and demons. And a lot of Christians dress their children up as, their favorite Disney characters, which Disney we know is demonic in itself, and their activities. But, no matter how you want to look at it, people take Bible verses and try to justify, well, everything you do, as long as you do it for the glory of God, and, all of that type of stuff. But the Bible is very clear that you have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. And as a kingdom-minded person, not a Christian, because Christianity is a holiday, as a religion that allows flexibility, bendability. It's just another religion in the list of religions. It's not what Jesus Christ came to bring back to the earth. Jesus himself was not a Christian. Christianity is a term that a lot of people use, and sometimes we use, to describe a follower of Jesus. But to be a follower of Jesus, you have to be a citizen of his kingdom, and you are under the influence of his kingdom behavior and his kingdom values and the things that he deems as worthy of honor, glory, and praise. Whatever is good and perfect and pure and praiseworthy and of good report. Meditate on these things and celebrate these things and honor these things and honor leaders and honor those who are doing the work of God, and especially the brethren and all of that. So these are the things that in our country, in the kingdom, that we celebrate. We celebrate all these different things. But Halloween seems to continue to find its way into the home of most believers. It's in your kids' elementary schools. It's obviously in the grocery stores. It's probably something you did as a kid. But we know that the Bible is strictly against all of these different things. A lot of people can't explain it. They want to make it a good day, and churches celebrate it. They do trunk or treats, or they do fall festivals, but in the mid, nothing wrong with a fall festival, I guess. But the fall festivals that churches do are just like, we're not going to call it Halloween. We're going to call it fall festival, but the practices are still the same. The kids are going to come dressed up as their favorite thing. And actually, what's really weird is that even though I don't advise dressing up as anyone or imitating anyone, which has its own error when you're trying to imitate or be someone else, and you dress up as something other than the image and likeness of God that he made you individually. Dressing up and imitating others, especially those who are dead and gone or make-believe characters, has its own demonic background by itself. So, but the origin of Halloween began over 1900 years ago in England, Ireland, and the northern France area. It was a Celtic celebration of the new year. It occurred, as I said, on October 31st, or actually November the 1st. But what was the biggest idea back then was it was a day and a time when the souls of the dead, and this is in all of the origins of Halloween that you can find, right? It always, no matter where you look up the origin, it always emphasizes the all saints element, is those who have gone on and died and who are either in purgatory, which is what, the Catholics believe is, not heaven or hell, but somewhere between the two dimensions, stuck and trapped. But these are lost souls that have died and gone on. And that this day is the day when supposedly the souls of the dead can mingle with the living. And so that's the idea behind it from its very root. It is the summoning of the dead, the intermingling of the dead, the communicating with the dead. And believe me when I tell you guys, this is forbidden in the Bible altogether. Terms like necromancy and mediumship and all of that, these things are forbidden in the Bible, to intermingle yourself with the souls of the dead, okay? And to summon them or to try to bring them, from one dimension into another dimension. And basically what you end up doing with all of these different rituals and routines is you are actually participating in a very, very demonic day where the witches and the satanic world, this is their favorite day. This is the day where they get rewarded for their sacrifices. This is the day when all the evil that they have done, they are looking for, some sort of gain of power or energy or strength from what they have done. And so what they're doing is trying to use your children to gain access to more demonic power through a reward program of the enemy, of the demonic world. So while we are celebrating, with candy and festivals and all of these different things, all we are doing is playing into the hands. The witches, the sorcery, they plan for this day all the way up to this day all year long, and infiltrate the churches and infiltrate the commercialization of it and the movie industry and all of that, just so they can get you to participate and intermingle with them. And as they get believers to intermingle with them, they are now using that power, that spiritual energy that believers possess or that people possess in order to do their evil work. All right, so it's really important. So I didn't want to be extremely deep on this, but you have to know that even when it comes to the little things like dressing up as people, dressing up in costumes and all of that, the trick-or-treating used to be known as souling. Souling is when children would go door to door on Halloween, with soul cakes, singing and saying prayers for the dead, right? Trying to entertain the dead so that the spirits of evil don't um, do harmful things to them. The sweetness of the candy and all of that symbolized trying to appease those lost souls that have gone on to the underworld and that are trying to negotiate and trying to, say, hey, if you keep us happy and you keep feeding us what we want, keep sacrificing your children to us, keep giving us the access to the natural world, if you keep giving us this access, then we'll leave you alone. So the songs, the trick or treat, phrases, the candy, the jack-o'-lantern itself used to be, it actually started as a turnip. This is a crazy story, Jack's lantern, but it started as a turnip when it began with the tradition. But as it moved over into America and other societies, the pumpkin looked to be a better and bigger vessel for them to put the lantern inside of. But the lantern itself was also to attract or light a light, summoning or bringing in these evil and demonic spirits. It's almost like you leave a light on for someone who's coming to your house to visit. So doing these different practices, the jack-o'-lantern with the pumpkin lit up and all that, we think it's a very, very harmless activity, but in fact, what we are doing is participating in a demonic holiday that is designed to intermingle with the lost and dead and demonic spirits that are in the world. So, with all that being said, I would not celebrate Halloween. And in fact, at one point in time, over the course of history, Halloween's visible practices, actually they merged into the culture of the day. It got commercialized. But so then what happened is Christians got a hold of it and they kind of did this pagan tradition, and they gave it a Christian twist. But what it was is these corrupted Christians started to bring paganism and Christianity and wanted to bring a merger of these things together, making it easier for the local population to convert to the state religion. So Christianity was a state religion in the West at the time. And as it became that they had to find a way to merge these two worlds together, so they gave the pagan holidays a Christian twist so that they could try to maybe build a bridge between these two worlds and allow people to convert to the state religion of Christianity. So anyway, with all that being said, not too deep, I don't want to go too far back into the history. It really doesn't matter how much you research it or how bad you want to make this a godly day. You're going to have to stand up to your children. You're going to have to tell them, most parents understand that it's a wicked time and it's nothing to be feared. It's just something not to participate, highlight, or glorify. It's not that we don't have power and authority over demons or anything like that, but it's just not a time to glorify evil, because this is one of those days where they are on full blast doing their work and trying to find children that they can access through, if the kids are participating in these rituals, you don't really know you're participating in something that can connect your child to a demonic influence that they may not ever know they connected with. And later in their life, they'll be visited with they've participated in this event, they've connected themselves with certain spiritual things, and there is a time in the future where the enemy will call on these children to do things for him. And you'll find children with behavior problems. You'll find children with, resistance to God, resistance to authority, and all kind of weird things, and attention problems and drug problems and just all these different things. And sometimes you don't know where it came from. And it's sometimes rooted in participating in these evil practices that you didn't know were evil. I traveled to Africa this past year, and one of the trips when I was in South Africa, we went to this cultural exhibit, and they had this voodoo ritual. that, I was going to a cultural exhibit that shows all the cultures and the tribes and how they live and stuff. And we got to this one area and they said, well, this is how we could, um, bless the dead or connect with the dead or something like that. And they said, take a rock and throw it into this pile. I forget exactly what it was. But I remember all the tourists picked up that rock and, they got this big pile of rocks where this is an evil voodoo practice. And they threw it into the pit. But me and all the believers that I was with, we took that rock and we just threw that thing on the ground. We did not participate. And even under my breath, I just cursed that practice in any association with it. All right. So anyway, believers, that's something to think about when you're dealing with Halloween. You don't have to participate. There's a whole lot of other things you can, find to do on that day. And it's just one day. Let it pass by. Stop going along with these obviously evil things that are happening in the world. Find a way to glorify God and the principles of God, the peace, the joy, the righteousness, and the holy things of God. If you got to do anything, you don't have to participate in those things.